The information given on this program is not, nor is it intended to be legal advice. You should consult an attorney for individual advice regarding your own situation. Legal Help Live is brought to you by Pan's Restaurant and Coffee Shop at 6710 La Tierra Boulevard in Los Angeles. Barney's Beanery at 8447 Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood. iLearnFast.com, a division of CityCom, and Rodolfo Buonacorte at www.rodolfobuonacorte.com.
Well, it's Legal Help Live time.
Hey, Ralph, you're back.
I am back.
From Texas.
Back, no. Going to Texas,
right.
back from Alaska.
Our roving reporter.
I'm collecting all the large states in the Union. How you doing, kid?
Fantastic.
Good.
Steve Solomon, Ralph Saltzman, lawyers on the loose.
We are ready for your call, and you got to call us first. 1-800-405-4222. That's how you call in and ask a legal question. You get a legal answer, and we're going to have some fun today. We've got some interesting subjects, and before we get any farther at all, I got to tell you, there was a question last week.
Help, I'm over here. Wolf, is my microphone on?
There was a question last week about whether or not smoking could be banned in apartments, and we have a couple of municipal ordinances.
Okay, the way the subject came up last week was we had a number of callers calling in on people were getting letters from their landlords saying you can no longer smoke in your apartment. They had been there 10 years, they had been there 5 years, they had been there 6 months, and these were all in West Hollywood, is my recollection.
Right.
Could the city of West Hollywood empower a landlord to tell a person who's been living in an apartment that he can't smoke in his apartment?
Right. And the answer is not sure, but it appears that the West Hollywood ordinance can be, it's business oriented, but a landlord is an owner of a business enterprise, that being a series of residential units in an apartment building. So it's arguable that a landlord could prohibit smoking in a private apartment owned by that landlord.
You know, I think it's outrageous. First of all,
there's another municipality that did the same thing a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but the issue is really not whether or not smoking is good for you or bad for you, because we all know that smoking is bad for you.
Yeah.
But the house is a zone of privacy in the California Constitution, and I don't think that that you can invade that zone of privacy by letting landlords say that, or a city say that you can't smoke within. They can do it. I don't think it's constitutionally legal.
Well, there you go. I think the issue is not whether or not they can. They may be able to. The question to me is, should they?
Well, no. The issue is I don't think it'll stand up. I think that.
Well, I got to tell you, the city of Belmont, another town in California, banned smoking in apartments. Nobody's challenged it, so it hasn't gone through the appellate court system, but it has been on the books for 4 years now.
Yeah, well, that means absolutely zero. What happens in this particular situation is that, California Constitution protects privacy, and this is a private area. So, the answer is unclear at this point. Those of you out there may have an opinion one way or another, and we'll be glad to talk about it. We do have a caller on the air. It's 1-800-405-4222. And Jessica.
Caller is Jessica. Jessica, come on and talk to us. What you got?
What you
Hi,
have.
I love
What
your
you got?
show. I watch all the time, and I call in a lot, so I'm really happy to have you guys as
Wait,
bouncing board for my problems.
How many times have you called in?
Well, not like a whole lot, like maybe 2 or 3.
Well, you must be calling in because you like his looks, because you're the only one that actually talks to him. So,
Yeah, talk to me now.
Okay, my friends and I were going to a party, and we stopped by to get the alcohol. We're all of age and everything, but my friend, who's a little bit of an idiot, he just cracked open like one beer in the parking lot, and he started drinking it, and we all thought he was being stupid, but nobody really said anything. But 2 guys came up, and they started hassling us. They were like maybe, I don't know, they were adults, but they were hassling us. We didn't know what we were doing. We kind of laughed it off. And then they took his alcohol away, and they weren't physically detaining him, but they weren't letting him pass. They were asking him all these questions and writing stuff down. And
did anybody,
at the end of,
Jessica, did anybody ask for identification or say who they were, identify themselves or anything like that?
No. And it's not like we were drunk or anything, but we were on the way to a party, so we weren't thinking. We were just like, this is weird. We didn't think to say, who the hell are you? But
Well,
at the end of it, they asked him to sign something, a ticket.
Well,
And he kind of looked at it, and he's like, I'm not signing that. And they got confrontational with him, and they ended up like carting him away in their car. At that point, we kind of gathered that they were probably, police or something, but they weren't dressed like police, and they didn't say anything. But they handcuffed him and put him in a car.
Jessica, where are we now? Has this resolved itself? Or?
He's
The
in
reason
jail.
I'm calling is because it's been 2 weeks, and he just got a letter in the mail saying that he had to go to court because he, I guess, obstructed justice or did something.
Well, that's a mess.
Well, first of all, whenever someone starts asking you questions, it would seem to me that you would reasonably say, who are you? And any law enforcement person at that time, assuming they're not in uniform and coming out of a black and white car or an all-white car or an all-blue car where it says police or sheriff or highway patrol on it, will identify themselves as an officer. At that point, you keep.
I didn't even know if they were full police. They were just those undercover, drinking, or not drinking, but the alcohol beverage people, the one that go in and try and sting shops that sell to minors.
Okay, and they have the same powers as a law officer does, and so they have the power to arrest. When they asked
I didn't know that.
when they asked him to sign the ticket, it's just like on the traffic ticket. If you're caught speeding, it just says that without admitting guilt, I promise to appear in court on such and such a date. Also, if you don't sign it, then in lieu thereof, they're required to arrest you and take you down to the station because you wouldn't sign the promise to appear. If you drink alcohol in a public place, it is a misdemeanor, which is a crime that could be sentenced up to 6 months in jail or a $1,000 fine. In most cities throughout Southern California, it's treated as an infraction where it's a fine and you can't go to jail. But the stupid part of the whole situation is, number one, drinking in public, because we all know that's a no-no. And number two, not asking who the person is. And number three, when you get a ticket book, assuming it wasn't blotto, not reading it and signing it, because your friend now has an arrest record.
You know,
I know, and I'm not saying it wasn't stupid, and it's not like we were just standing by idly. We were kind of joking around saying, who do you think you are? But isn't it kind of entrapment or something that they didn't say, we're officers of the law or acting thereof or whatever?
Jessica, let me tell you, Solomon and I have probably read 1,000 each reports that read pretty much what you just told us, and I can tell you that the report is most likely going to say, it's going to include that early on in whatever confrontation took place, these fellows identified themselves as law enforcement officers, maybe by showing a badge, certainly verbally. And I got to tell you something else. By the time your friend was looking at a ticket and not signing it, it said what agency they were from, whether they were from a state agency or a local police department. It really doesn't matter. As Steve says, these guys are law enforcement officers, and it's time to sign the ticket.
Well, but I think
Yeah, but at that point he was mad. He has a temper. We didn't know what they
Well-
were doing or why they were bothering us, and he just he lost his temper. So I doubt he even looked at the ticket.
let me tell you, I don't have any sympathy. You got to watch television. I'm sure you do. And on television, you don't mess around with the cops. In real life, you don't mess around with the cops. The time not to clown around is there on the street. People get hurt. People get shot because they don't know who you are. They don't know. You could be a bank robber standing out there, with 3 guns on them and 4 people in the shadows. The time to clown around is when you go to the circus, not when you get stopped by a law officer. You can leave all the histrionics to the courtroom. At that time, keep your mouth shut. Do what they say. Don't give them any reason to increase the charges against you. And be smart. I have no sympathy for this situation.
Jessica, at this point, your friend has moved carefully and adroitly moved himself from a low-grade crime to an alternate felony misdemeanor. And I would hope that it's charged as a misdemeanor, but he needs counsel. He needs to find an attorney. He should not be representing himself. If he qualifies for a public defender, he should ask for a public defender, and he should be represented when he goes to court.
And the other situation, which I think is key, is that the drinking in public, everybody can understand as a sort of a stupid offense.
Yeah, we all thought that was stupid. We weren't encouraging him. It's just we didn't stop him.
Let's go to the next step. The point is, it's the interfering, the obstructing, and that kind of situation, which raises it to a serious offense, and future employers, and if he wants to get licensed with any kind of governmental agency, God forbid, be a lawyer or a doctor or a real estate office or an insurance broker or anything where he needs a state license, he's got to explain this away. Get a lawyer. Let's get serious now and get this straightened out.
Yeah, agreed.
And,
Okay.
over and out, and thanks for calling Legal Help Live.
Jessica, before you go, I want to tell you, everybody who calls today, because this is a very interesting way to start the program, everybody who calls today is going to get a gift certificate for dinner for 2 at a restaurant of our choosing, and we're starting with you.
But you got to call the 800. You got to call.
Yay!
You got to call the. Yeah, we're going to fatten you up for the kill. You got to call the 800 number after the show's on, and leave your information so I get it back to you. So we got to go now. Get smart. Smarten up your friends now.
Yeah.
Don't play stupid anymore.
Thanks for calling.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for calling Legal Help Live, Jessica. Daryl calling from Santa Monica. Daryl, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
How you guys
Welcome.
doing?
We're doing pretty well. How are you?
Welcome to Legal Help
I'm
Live.
good. I'm good.
How can we help you?
All right, my question is, I just received notice that I was being sued. My son downloaded that Paris Hilton sex tape,
Oh,
and we're one of the 843 people being served with this lawsuit. And I want to know what to do.
interesting situation. Now, we would play it on the air, but I don't want Saltzman to get arrested, so we will not show your sex tape on the air to the audience. But
Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate
how
that.
do you know you're getting sued?
Got a notice.
Oh, I have the lawsuit.
You got a civil
it was
lawsuit.
dropped off at my house.
You got a civil lawsuit.
Yes.
You've probably violated trademark, restraining orders, and a bunch of other things. And what are they asking for? $2,500 damages, or what are they asking for?
I don't see where it is. They're asking for damages. I heard when I looked into it, I guess this lawsuit was filed back in January.
And when did you get served with
I
it?
just found out about it this July. And I guess they were asking for people to pay $500 and then they won't go to court.
Who's
Well, we didn't do that,
Oh.
and now I guess it's going to court.
who's the lawyer that's suing you?
It's called the company is XPays.
Okay, so
XPays Incorporated.
and when did you get served with the papers?
I think they came last Monday.
Okay, and is it in federal court? Does it say federal court or state court?
Or does it say United States District Court or State of California?
State of California.
All right. These are kind of serious situations because they're putting them out. It looks like mass production, and they're asking for damages. potentially a restraining order. I don't know whether what other alleged illegal downloads were involved. I don't want you to cop out to it on television. Since we're syndicated, we go out all over the place. So what I think you really should do in this situation, and I don't have anything in front of me, I haven't reviewed anything, I think you need to get a legal consultation, have somebody look at the paperwork and look at what your options are. You know, it may well be that the payment of $500, if that gets you out of the civil suit, may be the cheapest thing in the world to do. I don't know. I don't know what they're asking for. I don't know whether or not there's a criminal prosecution lurking on this. You need to go see a lawyer. The Santa Monica Bar Association, for you're from Santa Monica, has a referral service. You can get that online, or you can you can pick that up very easily. Santa Monica Bar Association Referral Service or the LA County Bar Association Referral Service. Get yourself a low-cost consultation. You've got a short period of time to respond. If you don't respond, they'll take a default against you, get a judgment against you, and since they're taking all this effort, etc., they could seize your bank accounts or take your car or attach your wages on your job. So you need to treat it seriously and figure out where you're at and where you need to go. And you can't wait a long period of time.
Daryl, I would do something in addition to that. It's a good idea to seek legal counsel and to seek local legal counsel. But you know what you might do at the same time? You might go on the internet and do a little exploration about what this lawsuit's all about. You might use some keywords from the lawsuit itself, maybe even the case number, and you could find out if maybe there's a lawyer, a law firm, or law firms, plural. Since this is a fairly widespread problem, there may be a firm that's already representing dozens of people who have received the same type of summons and complaint that you did, and maybe they're really up to speed on what the defenses are, what the issues are. So you might want to explore that. I've not heard of this before, so I don't have anything in the back of my mind to give you a head start, but you might do some internet exploration on that and come up with legal counsel who's really got a head start on all this.
That's a very good point. I guess the common word is Google it. Go into Google News or just go into the Google web browser or any web browser you have and put the name of the sex tapes and put attorney either before it or after it. And if there's somebody involved in it representing people who are being sued, that's a great idea. But do something and don't wait.
Daryl, I want you to do two more things. Do this. Call after 5 o'clock, the 1-800-405-4222 number, and give your contact information to the receptionist who answers the phone, because we want to give you a gift certificate for dinner for two, just for calling.
Yeah, but don't send us the sex tapes.
Don't do that.
We don't want the sex tapes.
No, we don't want any part of that. The second thing I want you to do is call us after you find out if there is a law firm representing folks under these circumstances so that we could disseminate that information to our viewers. Okay? All right, Daryl, thank you very much for calling Legal Help Live. That's a
Thank you.
interesting call, interesting situation.
Well, sex tapes always, are interesting. But, it's...
Did he say Paris Hilton?
Yeah.
I thought she was, like, out of the public eye.
It's not, it starts with a P, but it's not the word public. And there is an I after it. You have to figure that one out.
Oh, Lord, a puzzle.
It's illegal in a lot of instances. It's the Napster kind of situation. And I think there's a lot more to this in terms of downloading. It's very difficult to stop, but there's a lot of technical things now that are being used to stop it. Because you're taking the royalty rights. Here it may be something else.
I understand. And I'd like to, I don't want to know this really, but it would be interesting to find out the conversation between Daryl and his son relative to this issue. Okay, we got some more people to talk to. Let's go. Let's talk to Irene. Irene is calling us about a custody issue.
Irene from North Hollywood. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
What's your favorite restaurant in North Hollywood?
Restaurant?
Yeah.
I just moved to North Hollywood, so I don't know what's really out here.
Okay.
But
we're going to give you dinner for two at a restaurant of our choice if you call the 800 number after 5 and leave your callback information, and we'll send that out to you. So you can figure out. We'll send you to one of our favorite restaurants.
Okay, great.
It's going to. In fact, we're going to send you to Barney's in Santa Monica.
Wow, really?
That
That's great.
looks
And
good
I
to
can take
me.
my son.
Okay, so.
So what can we do for you, Irene?
Okay, the reason why I'm calling is because recently I lost temporary custody of my son, which is 12 years old. He had went into the foster care, but now that my daughter, she stepped up, to the plate, and she's 32, and she's, have custody of him. Well, I go back to court on the 23rd, and now they're saying they're thinking about giving my daughter full guardianship over my son. So the reason why they took him out is because he was diagnosed with depression, and they wanted me to give him these pills, Zoloft and Paxil and everything, and I refused to give it to him because he was having suicidal thoughts after he started taking them. So they told me that I should have been doing what the therapist and the psychologist told me to do, and they took him out of my custody. So anyway, he's been out for about a year now, and he hasn't had no depression or no anything, So I wanted to know that if they decide to give my daughter guardianship over my son, and once the case is going to be closed, they said the case will be closed for the Children Department Social Services. Is there any way that I can go and reopen that file and go to maybe a family court or something that where I can get my son back? Just because once she has him, it'll just be between me and her.
Let me ask you a question. So you're in the family dependency court? Is that where you're at?
Yes, the children's court. Yeah.
All right, and you've had a lawyer appointed to represent you,
Yes.
and you've had a lawyer. They've appointed a lawyer to represent your son.
Yes.
And I take it your daughter's got a lawyer too?
No, they didn't give her one.
Okay, but she wants to have custody of your son.
Yes.
Do you have visitation rights?
Yes, but they're monitored.
Okay.
Monitored by whom?
Her.
By your daughter?
Daughter.
Okay.
My daughter, yeah.
There's probably a lot to this case that needs to be shared. You've got a lawyer. Have you sat down with your lawyer and talked about all the pros and cons of your options? I mean,
Yeah,
and
yes, and the
and
reason
you don't
why
have
I'm
to tell
saying
me-
this is because I think I'm entitled to a trial, but they never gave me take it to trial or anything because I wanted to explain to them the situation because it all started with the school.
Why
He
does-
wasn't going to school.
Why-
And he said he didn't want to go to school because I don't know. He just said he was depressed.
why
And
why didn't they get a trial on this thing? Usually there'd be a hearing.
Okay, one day I'm a diabetic, so one day I went there, and you sit in court practically all day sometimes.
A lot of
That
cases.
particular day, I got up and I didn't have anything to eat. I got sick and I left.
So
That
they
was
had.
the day the attorney said that they were going to set it for trial.
Okay.
But they didn't. They said I guess they can't go back, but I want to know why they can't go back. It was not out of my control. I just got sick.
Are you working now, or
No, I'm not working at all.
are you able to go and hire another attorney to get a
No, I
second?
can't. I have no money to hire no attorney.
Can you go see I don't even know if the public defender, maybe legal aid?
Yeah, there used to be, and there still may be, representation through legal aid foundations. You might look there in the Valley in North Hollywood. Where's the court that you have to go to? Is it downtown or is it in the Valley?
No, it's in Monterey Park.
Monterey Park.
It's the large
East Lake.
It's the big court.
Yeah.
The answer to your question is probably not simple. It sounds like at the time they were either going to have the hearing, you weren't there for medical reasons. You should go back to your lawyer. I'm sure there's some kind of motions they can file and try and get it reopened. Has he or she tried that?
No, she haven't, but I'm going to ask her when I go on the 23rd.
Yeah, I would I would go before.
I mean, next month.
I would make an appointment to see your lawyer. Your lawyer probably has an office outside of the courthouse, is probably on a panel, and they get a number of cases. I would want to make an appointment way before the date and sit down with a lawyer that represents you, doesn't represent your child, and is appointed to represent you and your rights, and sit down in an office area. Bring a friend too, if you need someone to help you explain what's going on, because a lot of times, it's nice to have someone who you trust besides your lawyer sitting there and listening to this stuff, so that you can make sure that you're hearing, that what you heard is what was said, and talk about it not in the courtroom when you're down there, because then it's too late, but figure out in the next couple of weeks exactly what's up and what you can do, and know what your options are before you go to that hearing. And the answer is, I suspect subsequently, if there are a change of circumstances in regards to custody for a 12-year-old, the courts always have jurisdiction to modify things on a change of circumstances. So the answer is, yeah, down the line you can probably do something, but you need to know now whether you can do something now. And I would go back to the attorney who's representing you way before the hearing and see if you can get some answers that help you out, okay?
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, Irene. Thank you for calling Legal Help Live. We appreciate the call. And don't forget to call after 5 o'clock, 1-800-405-4222. Give your contact information to the receptionist so that we can get you dinner for 2.
Okay, great.
Okay. Thanks,
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Irene.
Bye.
Okay,
let's
go to the next caller.
Yeah, we got another call. Let's take another
we have
call.
a lot of calls. Let's take
Let's
the next
take the
call.
next one.
So we're going to put you on Legal Help Live. This is Ralph and Steve, and we're going to go to our next caller.
Now. Right now. Charlene, where are you calling from, Charlene?
Santa Monica.
Okay. What can we do for you this afternoon?
Well, I have had a problem for 11 years with law enforcement after me. And at that time, I was homeless, and I lost everything I had, and I made a few mistakes. I passed a couple of bad checks, which, of course, were paid back. Ever since then, they've been after me.
Who's
now
they?
They're trying.
Charlene, who's they?
Yes.
Charlene, who is they?
Law enforcement.
Okay, is it local police or is it federal police?
It's federal.
Okay, so it's the FBI is looking for you.
The FBI and helping them is
U.S. Marshals, probably.
no. It's from Palm Desert in around
All right.
Palm Springs.
All right, so that'd be the sheriff's department down there.
Yes.
Okay, so you're basically on the lam. You're hiding out.
No, I'm not hiding out. I have an apartment at Santa Monica for 10 years here.
Okay, I didn't mean hide.
On a Section 8.
Okay. So
And I've been up and up on everything.
all right.
I've taken care of all my bills. I worked on my credit. I did all that. And all I have is a one-bedroom apartment, and I have not been left alone. They have tried. They went through all my friends. They've contacted all my relatives.
Charlene, why are they doing this? What are they after? Why are they doing this?
They want to get me.
Well, is there a warrant out for your arrest?
No,
How do you know that?
because they're in the building. They have apartments in the building here.
Oh, the federal agents have apartments in the building?
Yes,
Okay.
one is right on the floor.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. Let us think about it for a couple of minutes. We're going to go to break now, and when we come back from break, we'll talk about these issues, okay? So,
Thank you.
okay.
Okay. Thanks, Charlene. As my partner says, we've got to take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to you. We'll be discussing Charlene's case, and we'll be taking calls at 1-800-405-4222. And remember, everybody who calls in today, we're going to give a gift certificate for 2 for dinner at a restaurant of our choosing.
And during the break, it's a good time to call the number that's up on the screen and get in line if you have a question that you want us to discuss, and we'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more Legal Help Live.
Our doors are open to all at St. Joseph Center, where we provide intervention, prevention, and education services. Our early childhood development centers encourage learning while parents seek work. Families receive food for the week. Case managers counsel seniors, veterans, and families. We also teach job skills to young and old. Experience the joy of helping at St. Joseph Center. We're planting hope, growing lives for all those in need.
A stranger on the phone said I won a sweepstakes, but I was smarter.
Someone tried to open a credit card in my name, but I was smarter.
A friend said I should sign my house over to him, but I was smarter.
The Los Angeles County Department of Consumer Affairs can help you avoid scams and protect your financial well-being. Don't become another victim of fraud. Call the Department of Consumer Affairs and we'll help you be
Smarter Seniors.
Before Christmas, my life was a mess. I was incarcerated, a drug addict, totally confused and didn't have any sense of direction. Some of the things they did is they gave me mock interviews, they assist me with my application. What I'm doing now, I work for a company that gives me a lot of responsibilities, and it's been great. It's been good.
After my service ended, the biggest battle I faced was readjusting to civilian life.
New Directions provides services specifically for women like you who face homelessness, substance abuse, and trauma.
I joined the military to save lives. New Directions helped me save my own.
If you were honorably discharged from the military, you're entitled to veteran services. Go to ndvets.org for help.
Well, we're back. Legal Help Live right here and right now. Ralph here and Steve there, and we're here answering your legal questions. You're calling us at 1-800-405-4222.
Is it really true that the producer of our show, Robin G., won another Emmy?
Yes,
That was amazing.
it is true. She won another Emmy. Is it
should-
also true?
I think we should
Hooray
give
for
Robin.
Robin.
Hey.
Is it also true that two young attorneys in the West Side who do a city TV legal show live were Emmy presenters? Did I hear this?
I know one of them.
I know, and I know the other one.
The funny part about it is if you look on the LA Academy
Television Arts and Sciences,
there's pictures of people from Legal Help Live and Cheap Eats, which I thought was kind of cute.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Okay, let's go. When we left the air, we were talking to Charlene, and Charlene has had law enforcement, both federal and state, looking after her for 11 years now. And the answer to her question is simply, it sounds like there's probably a warrant outstanding for her. You got to turn yourself in. You got to go get yourself a lawyer. Have your lawyer find out whether there's a warrant outstanding for you. If there is a warrant outstanding for you, then you got to make arrangements to turn yourself in and work it out in the legal system. But this hiding around probably is not the appropriate thing.
Gosh, no. As a general proposition, before we go to other calls, as a general proposition, if there is law enforcement conducting an investigation and they have no factual basis to do so, there are federal statutes and state law as well that can protect that person. Legal counsel has to be sought. So those are the possible alternatives.
If there's a warrant outstanding and it's truly there, you get a lawyer and you
got to take care of it.
You deal with it in the court system. So that's our advice. Go get yourself a lawyer. Go see the public defender and get it worked out.
Back to the phone list.
1-800-405-4222, and let's go to Hancock Park, California.
Denise.
Hello.
Denise, you got Ralph here and Steve there. What's up?
Yes, I have a legal question. I live in my Councilman Tom LeBon's district off 3rd Street.
Okay.
And I would say within the last 3 years, it's been 2 condos put up near my area right off 3rd Street. And now in back of me, they're getting ready to build another condo, I understand. And so I'm wondering, because of the noise level and all the riffraff, and I've gone through this before, because like I said, within the last 2-3 years, within the, I would say, a block and a half, there's 2 condos being built, and now another one. And I wanted to find out legally, is there anything I can do to go downtown to voice my opinion? I understand if it's going to be affordable housing, but this is going to be just another, condo. And I'm like, I'm condoed out right now. I mean, it's just so many condos being built, and it's not affordable housing. It's kind of upsetting me.
See, this
the
is
noise level and everything, and it's the traffic, the whole bit.
This is how it happens.
So I don't know.
This is how it happens, and it happens all over areas where it's populated. It first started. LA was almost all residential at one time. There's some commercial district. As more people came out here, the zoning began to change. It went from single-family houses to apartment areas to condos, et cetera, et cetera. In all these projects, they generally have to go in and have a public hearing, either before the planning department or a zoning administrator. And there is a right to go down and protest and put your opinion in. One of the things that you can do if you're really upset with these things, and it sounds like...
Well, it's not so much upset. It's just I wish it was more, if it was affordable housing or even senior housing, I wouldn't be so much opposed to it. But just another condo and traffic in my area within a 2-block radius, the last 3 years, I've had to put up with this noise, and now this one is right in back of me.
Well, now, there
and
are
I'm like,
there are homeowners associations, there's business improvement districts, there's all kinds of places that you can get involved, and, one person can do something, but 100 or 200 or 300, and a lot of these neighborhoods are organized, and maybe you want to seek out what are the neighborhood groups there that you can get involved in to try and politically stop the projects that you have positions against. Because the other side, those people who want to put in the projects, they know how to use the system. And I tell you, in a lot of the areas, the local groups know how to use the system also. It's very difficult as one person, especially
yes, I figured
if you don't
that.
have a million.
It's hard, and
if you don't have $1 million.
Right, to voice, and they're not going to listen to me.
Well,
but it seems like I can understand if it's something reasonable. You put up with the noise, but just another condo so people can
Denise,
it's just enough. It's
Denise,
just too many condos and traffic
Denise,
in my area. I live on a nice street.
Denise,
and more, it's just too much.
Do you belong to a homeowners association where you are?
No, I'm not a homeowner. I'm a renter.
Well, you can still join these organizations.
I'm one of the few apartments like near my street, and so I don't want it to be condoed out, So.
Well, you should find out the neighborhood groups, call the councilman's office and get a list, and they'll send it to you, of the neighborhood groups who are involved in that community, and then start making phone calls and see what group is supporting or not supporting it.
Okay, because they just did demolition, and I don't know when they're going to start
It's going to happen. They get a demolition permit.
Yeah, they just completed that, because it's like the last 3 weeks is noise, and now that's cleaned up. So I don't know when they're going to start it, and I just really like to voice my opinion.
I tell you what you can do. There's a City of Los Angeles service. Write this down. ZIMA. It's Zima. And Zima is a computer service. It's free. You get on to Zima. You put the address of the property in. It will tell you everything that's going on in regard to that piece of property, in terms of the zoning, the public hearings, and all this stuff. So you can check it out, and it's a good way to start as to what's happening on that piece of property.
And Denise, you know what? It may be.
Zima, Z as in zebra, Z-E-N-A?
No, Z as in zebra, I as in interesting, M as in Mary,
Zina. Oh, okay.
A as in Albert.
Okay, Zina. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Denise, it may be too late for this project because they've already demolished the previous building.
It's like I have to
put
up with.
It may not be too late for the next building. So keep aware of what's going on in your neighborhood. Check the Zima system, and you may actually be able to help yourself in that way.
And also get a hold of the councilman's office and ask to speak to the planning deputy. It's called the planning
Oh, the
deputy.
planning deputy?
Yeah, and that's the person who's involved in all the land use for the councilman. This person will, and tell them you're interested in this project, give them the address, and you want to know exactly what's going on, and they will find out what it is since you're constituents, and they will get that information back to you. And that's another good way to get information about what's exactly happening on that piece of property that's right behind you, okay?
Okay, thank you so very much.
And by the way, call us on that 800 number after the show and leave us your information, and we'll send you back the lunch or dinner tickets to 2 restaurants on our compliment. Won't put up for the noise, but it'll at least make you feel better.
Yeah, at least you're going to be a restaurant during some of the construction.
Thank you so very much.
All right, Denise, thanks for calling Legal Help Live.
Bye-bye.
You bet. Let's keep going down the list of telephone lines and talk to Andy. Andy, come on and talk to us.
Hello, how you doing today?
We're doing very well. How are you?
Do we still have a baseball?
Pretty good. You know, I was just inquiring about a timeshare network or a vacation property.
Okay.
And it's actually not a property, it is a timeshare vacation package. And of course, I've paid it off in full, but I have the association dues that are due, I think, quarterly.
These things are killers. They're killers. The market in these timeshare vacation things, to sell them, could you sell it? Could you give it away?
Well, we could probably give it away, or we could probably sell it, but it's really, really hard to sell them.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I've looked at these things. These are, for the audience out there, this is where you pay and get a week's vacation someplace.
This package is a little bit different because you can break it up. You know, days, weeks.
Okay, but you're
those types. It's a little bit more functional.
You're
than
basically
the average timeshare.
Okay, you're basically paying for a vacation place that not only that you have to pay for, but you're also having to pay for all these other fees, etc. And today, probably
Association dues. That's correct.
Yeah. And how much does that run you a year for the association dues?
Probably about $1,200.
Wow.
And you can't. And in the market, because of the real estate market,
Probably a little less than that, but somewhere around $1,200. It's like $300 a quarter or something like that.
And what did you pay for the piece of property?
Basically, I bought a property that was deeded, and then this company started a conglomerate of resorts around specific areas where you have privileges at, and it became a vacation package.
Oh, so how much
flexibility of breaking it up into a few days to multiple weeks that's the ability that you have.
How much did you pay for this?
About $7,000.
Okay, $7,000, and you're paying about, and you're not using it. You can't get out.
I just recently used it.
Okay.
And I use it pretty much every year.
Andy, hold on.
My family uses it, and it's been a nice thing to have.
Andy,
but
we got to go to break, so hold on. We'll answer your question after the break.
Okay, thanks.
That's correct. Folks, when we come back, we'll be taking your calls as well at 1-800-405-4222. We'll pick up Andy when we come back, and we'll be answering your calls as well when we come back.
Stay tuned for more Legal Help Live.
$5 feeds 20 people?
Pretty amazing, huh?
Who gets this food?
Seniors, Gulf War veterans, and families trying to make ends meet.
All right, here's $5. Wow, that was fast.
We don't mess around.
How fast can you make this work?
Thank you.
No, miss. Thank you.
You can be a hero too. Please donate to the Westside Food Bank.
Hey kids, what if you saved enough money to buy your own thing? You could buy a video game or even a car one day. You could even help your parents out and pay your own way through college. Let's start by playing a fun game I created just for you. Begin by splitting up every dollar you receive. Put 7 dimes in your spending jar, 2 dimes in your save-a-little jar, and 1 dime in your future jar. To find out more about this game, have your parents help you log on to kidsfinance.com.
Being in foster care was like always living in someone else's house.
Being adopted means me and my brother and my sister never have to move again. Last week, our new parents took us to the beach. We'd never seen the ocean before. We collected seashells, and we ate ice cream, and we built a sandcastle, and it was awesome.
Small things mean a lot to a child in foster care. For more information on how you can foster or adopt a child, contact Share Your Heart LA today.
As life transitions,
Volunteer opportunities.
senior resources,
Your trusted source.
We are back. Ralph here, Steve there. We're the Legal Help Live team. You're calling us at 1-800-405-4222. You are asking legal questions. You're getting legal answers. And in addition to that, everybody who calls today, and we've had a number of calls today, but everybody who calls today.
You look surprised where you've been. You haven't been
no,
around.
I'm just happy
You've
as
been
can be.
traveling, dude.
I got no calls in Alaska. Nobody can call in Alaska. Everybody who calls today and gets in, asks a legal question, gets a legal answer, also gets a gift certificate for dinner for two at a restaurant of our choosing.
When we went to break, we had Andy on, and Andy's still on the line, and he bought a timeshare a number of years ago.
$7,000
And what's happening now is he's getting hit for $1,200 a month.
a
year fees, and basically can't sell the timeshare. So Andy, here's my advice. If you don't want to spend $1,200 a month, a year using this, then find a friend and get them to assume it, get yourself off of it, and move on.
Do you have any friends you don't like?
Right. I wouldn't do that to my friends. Even though they probably could enjoy it, it's been enjoyable for my family, but I was wondering what the downside and the upside for walking away from just the association dues cost. Because the mortgage is already paid for, or the loan amount is already paid in full.
They're going to get a judgment. They'll sue you for the association fees unless they're illegal or inappropriate. I haven't seen any of the documents, so we're just sort of pointing you in the right direction.
Yeah, Andy. Here's the thing. As my partner just said, we don't know what the documents say. What you might want to do is have a lawyer read through the documents, hire an hour time from local counsel somewhere nearby where you live, and there are bar associations that cover your jurisdiction. Have them read through the documents and see if there's an out. Sometimes there is.
But, it's screw your credit up.
And if you really don't like the lawyer, give it to him.
Right. Now, in regards to the credit hit to your credit, what's the downside on that, and what's the upside?
They're going to, at some point, they may well sue you on it, so you're going to have a lawsuit on your credit, and you may end up owing it at the end. You may have a judgment for whatever it is. So you got to do the math on it. If it's $1,200 a year and it's worth it to you, then you don't give it away, and you pay the $1,200. If you want to see whether it's legal or not, you're going to really have to have somebody look at the documents and see if there have been any recent cases that interpreted the language of your thing. But I know. Just go on timeshares, and you can see on Google and all the financial stuff. They're talking about how bad these. They're not a great investment unless you're really. If you're using it and enjoying it and can afford it, then you're there.
And it's worth $1,200 a year to you. If that's true, then keep it.
If not, figure a way to give it away.
Okay, find out how to give it away, but the legal downside is not great for you in regards to a lawsuit. And how sticky can that get?
It's like any other lawsuit.
Can they hold you? How long can they hold it over your head?
A judgment for 10 years, and they can get it longer than that. So, and if you got money, they can probably attach it. Get some lawyer to look at this, and then move on. Okay, and I will not take your timeshare.
No, we won't.
Okay.
And by the way, Andy,
I was hoping you would.
After 5, that was what the call was all about. Will you?
Right, I was trying to sell it on TV.
Okay, one timeshare for sale, but we're not licensed.
After 5 o'clock, call.
Wait. I tell you what. If you want us to give your timeshare away on television, we'll be glad to do that. But
Yeah, anybody who's out there,
That might be a good idea.
anybody who's out there who wants Andy's timeshare, call us. Call us quickly at 1-800-405-4222. And Andy, you call us after 5 o'clock so that you can give us your contact information. We'll get you that gift certificate for two for a restaurant.
But we're only kidding. We're not going to give your timeshare away.
Thank you,
It's
guys. I
your
appreciate
problem.
the
not my
advice.
Take care.
Take care.
Okay. Thanks, Andy.
It's sort of like
and
giving.
that dinner has no strings attached to it. We'll just give them the gift certificate and not ask for anything back. Okay.
Well, okay. So, interesting lawsuit. There's a lawsuit in Chicago where adult children have sued their mother for bad mothering.
Oh, I saw that.
Can you imagine this? Bad mothering.
So what happened with the lawsuit?
Well, the issue is, do you think children should have a right to sue their parents for bad mothering or bad fathering? Now, I'm not talking about their looks, but do you think that that this is something that we should allow? I mean,
well, I know what happened in this case.
I mean, bad looks you could sue for.
Oh, no, wait a second.
That would be a genetic problem. But,
wait a second. You want to talk about bad looks?
Bad parenting.
Let's talk about bad looks.
So what do you think about bad parenting?
I think bad parenting is common, and I think that if I agree with I know what happened with this case, and I agree with the court. I think that if people are allowed to file lawsuits just against normal bad parenting, we're not talking about child abuse here. We're talking about not sending money in a gift certificate card, or not remembering a birthday, that kind of stuff.
My kids, when they graduated college and had jobs and went to work and realized that things had changed, wanted to sue me for breach of fantasy because I had given them too nice of a lifestyle, and now they realize what reality is. Now
that's not going anywhere either.
That wouldn't go anywhere
either. No, not a good suit.
I said, bring it on, baby. Bring it on.
But you said something that's interesting to me. You mentioned, could somebody get sued for being ugly? I don't think so, but does the ADA, the Federal Americans with Disability Act, which protects people with handicaps, can the ADA be used, or should it be amended to include people who suffer because they're ugly? The beautiful people, as you know directly, Mr. Solomon, the beautiful people get the better jobs, they get the better wives, they get the better salaries, they get better mortgage rates, according to the study under the ADA.
That's interesting.
So far that's all true. Now there are law professors, as one fellow from the University of Texas, which I will be visiting tomorrow, who says that maybe the ADA should protect people who are ugly. What do you think?
I finally got some protection. This is pretty amazing.
Well, Wolf, wait a second. Wolf's lining up right now.
You know, we got our entire staff that could get protected here. You know, it's pretty amazing. You can sue. You can sue for bad mothering. That's going to get thrown out.
Yes.
But the whole thing about genetics, two people get together, for whatever reason, the child turns out to be not as cute as he or she should be, and then they want to sue the parents.
That's another lawsuit, I suppose. But you know what? If the ADA,
too many lawyers. If the
federal government enacts a regulation that defines ugly, how do they do that? It can't be a subjective criteria. It's got to be something that is specified in the statute. This law professor says, I'm going to quote now, "For purposes of administrating a law, we surely could agree on who is truly ugly. Perhaps the worst-looking 1 or 2% of the population would qualify." Now, who's going to do that? Is a panel?
You know, I'm sure that in government there are all kinds of jobs, and now all the legislative people all over the country are going to appoint ugly pointers. And you're going to get a civil service job, and the job is to be their job of government to point out, you're ugly, and you're ugly.
You know, when
you got a lawsuit? Come on, this is absurd.
The EEOC, it might happen. They're working on it. The EEOC presently has self-defined boxes to check when you're looking for employment, by race, okay, by sex, sometimes by sexual preference, Do you think that we'll see a day when there's a box that you can check, this, are you ugly? And you check that box, and now you're protected by the ADA.
Well, the interesting thing would be is that all we have to do is show our passport photos or our driver licenses.
Oh, no, not your driver's license.
And we'd all qualify for the ugly.
Oh, that's true. I didn't know where you were going.
You know,
that's true.
Some of the times you come up, kids say the damnedest things. Okay?
Yes.
And you qualify for that.
Thank you.
But let me tell you what's happening in Texas. Now, this is the highest court in Texas. And we've had phone calls off the thing to the phones have been ringing off the walls, and we finally get to say something. The highest court in Texas has been dealing with this extremely difficult legal problem, whether or not a poll tax can be applied for nude establishments where alcohol is served.
Right.
And
Poll, P-O-L-E.
Poll tax.
Right.
And the highest court in Texas has said yes.
Right.
That if they don't want to pay the tax, they either put their clothes on or they get rid of the alcohol.
Right.
So
it was an alcohol issue.
We spend a lot of time with great legal questions that probably don't have a lot of significance.
Well, while you were paying attention to the courts in Texas, I was looking at the this year's legislation from the legislature in Texas. Beginning tomorrow, which is the first day of the fiscal year in Texas, not California, but in Texas, tomorrow, people in Texas will be able to noodle. That means you can catch a catfish using only your bare hands.
Oh, and I've seen those shows. If you can open your mouth wide, you stick the hand down into the catfish. Now, you got to be pretty stupid. And then you wait for the catfish to bite you.
Yes.
And then you pull the catfish out of the water. That's noodling.
Yes.
You don't watch the same shows I do.
No.
You're listening to violin music.
I'm just watching the Texas legislature. Well, there's another law that's also in effect tomorrow, and that is hunters can shoot feral hogs. That's hogs that used to be tame and now they're wild, and they can also shoot coyotes from helicopters. New law.
Well, and I would go.
I've left you speechless.
I would then to move to political candidates from Texas, but I think that's off limits for this show. Okay.
Probably
Been
is.
A very interesting show today. I think
yes.
some of the callers have called in everything from smoking to being followed by the cops to you name it. It's been great. We really appreciate all of you out there listening, watching, calling, talking, etc. You know how to email us. You know how to call us on the air. You know how to gift your gifts and prizes. We're so glad that you're participating in the show. It's really been a great time to be at public service to everybody out there. Keep watching, keep calling, and let's bring our troops back as soon as we can.
Amen to that. Before we go, I just want to remind everybody, when we are on the air next time, you'll be calling us at 1-800-405-4222. Everybody who called today and got in and asked a legal question, got a legal answer, call after 5, 1-800-405-4222. Give us your contact information so we can get you the gift certificate for 2 for dinner, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
The information given on this program is not, nor is it intended to be legal advice. You should consult an attorney for individual advice regarding your own situation. Legal Help Live is brought to you by Pan's Restaurant and Coffee Shop at 6710 La Tierra Boulevard in Los Angeles. Barney's Beanery at 8447 Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood. iLearnFast.com, a division of CityCom, and Rodolfo Buonacorte at www.rodolfobuonacorte.com.